If he didn't have a beginning, he didn't have a beginner. You can't go on an infinite regress of causes. There's got to be an uncaused first cause somewhere. What's your name?
My name's Tyler.
Hey,
Frank,
Tyler.
I just want to thank you for your ministry very much. I'm a full-time evangelist. Your ministry has really equipped me to be able to share the gospel more with others, especially at UNC, just right down the road.
Oh, good.
And one of our ministries, we open Q&As just like this one. And atheists, they come to our table every week. And a really common question that they have for me, which I feel like I'm not really equipped to answer, is what science, or really they argue with me. I take them to the origin argument, and they argue with me about the universe being eternal, that it has no beginning. They quote the B theory of time. And I'm just kind of, my question for you is, what scientific evidence do we have that indicates the universe has a beginning? I always take them to the first.
What scientific evidence do we have?
Yes, what scientific evidence do we have that the universe has a beginning?
All right. First of all, I'm going to give you philosophical evidence first, because philosophical evidence doesn't change if it's properly understood, but scientific evidence might. I want you to look at this timeline here, right? Here's the timeline where you've got, there's yesterday, there's the day before yesterday, there's last week, right? Here's the question. Can this timeline be infinite into the past? Anyone?
Yes, but not here, not counting Earth, our solar system, somewhere else.
There's time somewhere else?
Well, we are only aware of what's happening here on Earth right here, right now, all the way to the next amount of years in the past.
Right, but this universe right here has a time to it, right? Could there be, in other words, could there be an infinite number of days before today? No, why not?
We'd never be here today.
What's that?
Because we would never actually be.
Yeah, we would never get to this day, today, if there were an infinite number of days before today, because you'd always have to live another day before you got to that day. But since today is here, there can only be a finite number of days before today. If there's a finite number of days before today, then time had a beginning. And if time had a beginning, whatever created time must be outside of time, which means that being is timeless, which answers the question, who made this being? Nobody. He's unmade because he's outside of time, which means he didn't have a beginning. If he didn't have a beginning, he didn't have a beginner. You can't go on an infinite regress of causes. There's got to be an uncaused first cause somewhere. And this is called the Kalam cosmological argument. So you can forget the science for a minute, although this is congruent with the science, because as Einstein's theory of general relativity pointed out, space-time and matter are correlative. They came into existence together. So when space-time was created, there was nothing chronological before then because there was no time. Time, space, or space-time and matter came into existence instantaneously, together. And this makes sense, right? Why? Because how could you have matter if you had no space, no place to put it, right? It had to come into existence together. So space-time and matter are correlative. Here are 5 lines of evidence from science the universe had a beginning. S.U.R.G.E, S-U-R.G.E. This is all in the book. I don't have enough faith to be an atheist. Do you have the book?
No.
You can't be saved unless you read the book. Look, I don't make the rules, okay? All right. But in chapter 3, we cover second law, universe expanding, radiation afterglow, great galaxy seeds, Einstein. Here's the one sentence for each one of these. Second law of thermodynamics says the universe is running out of energy, usable energy. If the universe was eternal, we'd have run out of energy a long time ago. Since we haven't, the universe had a beginning. Okay, there's other aspects to it as well. The universe is expanding. Hubble saw the galaxies moving away from us due to the redshift in the light. If you go back in time, they all collapse back to a point. Mathematically, density, space-time goes to 0. So once there was nothing, and then the space-time continuum leapt into existence. In fact, you can think of this as a balloon that has dots on it. When you blow up the balloon, all the galaxies or all the dots move away from one another. That's what's going on with regard to the universe. The R stands for the radiation afterglow. That's the remnant heat from the Big Bang explosion. It's still out there. It was discovered by Penzias and Wilson in 1965, for which they won Nobel Prizes later for that in physics. The G stands for the great galaxy seeds. Those are temperature variations in the radiation afterglow that allowed the galaxies to form in the early universe. And E is Einstein's theory of general relativity. Those 5 lines of evidence are having just about all scientists admitting space-time and matter had a beginning. Okay? Even if all that's wrong, this still stands. Science is tentative. Scientific theories go in and out all the time. Although I will say this, the standard Big Bang cosmology has stood the test of time. There's all sorts of different theories that have come along in the past half century to try and disprove it, and they've all failed. As it stands now, the standard Big Bang cosmology looks correct. Could that change later? It could. Does that make sense?
I'll get the book.
Thanks, Tyler. Yep, you got to get the book and get saved. See you next time.